Hi, I'm Bronte Price. I'm a cis gay guy and I am the founder of the Equality Network. Welcome to yet another Safe Space chat. And today we're having a chat with Evan, and we're talking today about the use of pronouns and particularly pronouns in the workplace. So pronouns are kind of words that we use in place of someone's name, use them numerous times each day. And most of us learnt what our pronouns are as part of our early speech forming patterns. Our pronouns that most of us grew up back in the day were she, her, if you were assigned female at birth, and he, him, if you were assigned male at birth. And those pronouns, pretty importantly, ignored a couple of things. Firstly, the fact that not everyone who was assigned male or female at birth was actually assigned the correct sex at birth. And secondly, not everyone fits neatly within those two binary terms of female and male. So, of course, some people don't identify as either exclusively male or female, or at times they identify as both or partly both. So particularly people who are non-binary, people who are gender diverse, gender fluid, gender queer, find it really hard to fit into those boxes and those labels that have been created by broader society. And so it's going to be, I think, a fascinating talk today with Evan. And so we'll start by getting you, Evan, just to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself, please.
Hey everybody, so my name's Evan Fowler. I am a photographer based in Melbourne. I'm 33 years old. I'm also a business owner. I manage my family business, which is in bathroom renovations, and also an Uber driver and all sorts of different things. So pretty crazy busy. Also a drag queen and probably non-binary, just kind of figuring that out at the moment. That's me. That's where I'm at.
Thank you. So tell us a bit, if you will, please, about your pronoun. What are your pronouns, Evan?
It is always, you can call me whatever you want, just don't call me late for dinner. That is probably one of my favorite things. Like it really doesn't phase me too much. But when it comes to the workplace, I'm constantly having discussions with my staff. Like I don't like my staff calling me boss because I just hate that term. I'm nobody's boss. You choose to be here. We work together. I just got a poop load extra responsibility.
Yeah.
So I see, all my staff, well, people I work with as collaborators, they know the rules of capitalism and what's going on. Where we're both sides of the same sheet. I'm not trying to save money for a gold toilet and rip you off. I'm trying to help you grow, learn, get more money, help your family, be amazing. If you're growing and being amazing, that's what I want. I don't need a gold toilet.
Yeah.
Don't like being called boss. And it's getting to a tricky stage these days with customers as well. It's like, don't gender customers, because it's just bloody annoying sometimes. Like it's just in your face all the time. Like I've just started going to studying. That's the other thing I'm doing, studying my master's of photography as well. So, and at the new university I've started at, there's one gender neutral toilet. And I just keep on. It's always very busy and occupied, and it's a disability toilet and a baby change room, and it's for fuck's sakes. There's male and female toilets, and they're a little bit busier, and it's got to have male written on it, male toilet, and it's right where you push the hand, and it's like, could you just put it somewhere else and just have a logo or something? And I mean, if Ally McBeal could have gender neutral toilets in 1990, how come we can't have gender neutral toilets? And it still plays into this thing of masculine men are uncontrolled, and they can't sort of contain themselves, and we have to be, scared of men because they're not capable of controlling themselves. And this comes from way, way back, you know. Um, so I'm off topic. Where am I? What's happening?
No, that's fine. I was just going to say, ask you the question, what do pronouns mean to you? Are they important, say, and let's go to either university or in the workplace. How important are they?
They're important for the people that they're important to. So trans people have definitely really, really fought hard to become the person they want to be. So for them, it's super important. So on our work uniforms, we actually have the pronouns under the names, which is really handy. So they're not so important to me, but I totally understand that they're really, really important to some people for the amount of fighting they've had to do to get there. But not using them in my workplace inappropriately is really important to me. So yeah.
And so the main way you get around that, or that you manage that, is by having the name on the uniform as well as the pronoun straight underneath, so that
exactly, yeah. And just don't assume, assumptions make asses out of you and me. And customers, you just can't, instead of saying this lady in the showroom, just say this lovely customer in the showroom, and then you got no dramas.
That's it.
And they've got a compliment. They're like, oh, a lovely customer. Stop it.
Yeah, that works for me. Yeah. Why do you think we're even in the year 2022? Why are we even having a discussion about pronouns?
It's another area that we just I've probably been busy fighting for, just standard rights as queer people, and different people of color have been just fighting for normal rights, and now we're sort of getting to some just fucking annoying stuff that should have been fixed a long time ago, and I think we're just working through it. So it's not that it's not crucial, it's just not as sometimes extreme, Stolen Generation, for example. Heavy drama, hectic, really worth focusing on heavy, important stuff. Just even, Tasmania only illegalized, decriminalized homosexuality in 1997, for fuck's sakes.
Right.
And still don't, they're only one gay bar just closed. So safe space in Tasmania, not so much.
Yeah, no, that's right. So you talked before about the experience of some people, particularly trans and gender diverse people, having to remind people of their pronouns constantly. So the idea of the name and the pronouns on the uniform is outstanding. What are the consequences in your experience for people whose pronouns are other than she, her, or he, him, of the wrong pronouns being used? What are the consequences for those people?
Or as in somebody, as in me being misgendered, or somebody else being misgendered?
Either of those, yeah.
For me, I don't have a problem with it, but for other people who fought for it, it's like, just fuck off. It's like, and it is a small thing. Just to randomly quote somebody, it's, people really care deeply about sports and know all sorts of things about football, and they can't take 2 seconds to remember someone's pronouns or terms, or even just take a second to understand it because it's too inconvenient, because it's like an individual thing rather than a global thing that we do. It's like me inconveniencing you by just being a bit different.
Thank you. And we're quite okay about truckies, for example, calling their rig a she or a her. They always have a female name. We're quite okay about every ship or boat known to humankind being a her, right? But we have a problem with, and only a week ago or two weeks ago, we had an instant change of gender in the national anthem of Great Britain. And I think that probably took some people some getting used to, but very quickly it's become part of the national or international conversation, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, and I mean, even the Queen becoming the Queen was a massive shift in the patriarchy. So it's back to a patriarch now, I believe.
Very much so.
Yeah, so that's weird.
Yeah.
So, and I think the UK became very progressive on that front because of that. You wouldn't have the Queen. I think there's a Doctor Who episode about it, which is a bit silly, but you wouldn't have the Queen do your laundry, wash your clothes. So it really pushed
Yes.
gender norms in the UK in a very fascinating way.
From the 1950s. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And then it's just changed back to the old one. And it's like, oh, maybe not so good.
So tell me let's go back to the work situation. If a workplace becomes known for constantly misgendering and therefore providing wrong pronouns for various people, queer people in the workplace, what's the kind of impact, do you think, on that business of that kind of thing? Is there an impact?
So as in like my tradies going to a shitty workplace sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it's about if a workplace has got some queer people there and their pronouns are other than the binary, and from the top down, that's not supported as much as it might be. Is there an impact on that business, or is that just brushed under the carpet, do you think?
Well, it's always going to affect the culture, because it is the people, and queer people are part of that, and they might not be the majority and they might be in the minority, but they're not going to feel safe, and that's going to rub off on other people, and other people are not going to feel safe, and it becomes not so fun. And part of my company's core values, I sort of worked it out with all my staff. We sort of sat down and worked out, what are ours. So, safety, inclusion, compassion, professionalism, and there's a few more in there. So when you've got those sort of core values, that's really important. And if you're just there for capitalism and money, it's going to be a boring, shitty place to work.
Yeah, and I guess the word will spread that it's not the employee, not the business of choice that you want to go and work at. But
that's it. It's just.
You mentioned that your workplace has the name and the pronoun of each worker, which is, I think, fantastic because it just takes away all that assumption. What are some other things that workplaces can do to be kind of more inclusive around pronouns?
Well, just straight up. I mean, we had, bathrooms, and we just made them gender neutral. All you had to do was take the sign down and put another sign on, $4 from Bunnings, and then they got a whole lot cleaner very quickly. Funnily enough.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're just toilets. There's not like there's urinals or anything like that. And even then, you can just say toilet with urinal.
Yeah.
And people can choose what they're feeling on any particular day, how much of a rush they're in, depending on what's going on. And we're all capable of doing that. What are some other things you can do? Yeah, just talk about the way you address customers and try and build your customers up by saying nice things instead of lady. And we still have those Mr., Mrs., Ms. and prefixes that are really confusing to know. I still don't know them somehow. I don't get them. And lady and tradie, and
sure,
some people do want to be addressed in a certain way. and it's fine when you're going into their home, because we do bathroom renovation, so we go into people's homes. So people do want to be addressed by their prefix sometimes, doctor, professor.
Sure.
It's got to be on the invoice. And I think I changed my electricity bill. I just set it up randomly. I'd used a Miss Evan Fowler, and then tried to get it disconnected on the phone, and they cracked the shits because I put Miss. So I just thought it was funny that it came in the mail with Miss Evan Fowler. So all of those little things that you can just kind of work around. I think we even bring up nationality. You just don't have to mention it. Someone mentioned, oh, this place looked like a Chinese laundry. You don't have to say that. You can just say, it looks like a laundry.
That's it.
Why go there?
You don't have to do the racist thing or the homophobic or transphobic thing. Just, thank you. All the classes.
Ladies and gentlemen, and
Have you come across other workplaces that have been not so inclusive, and you've walked into them and suddenly you've seen this or felt this thing, this vibe that's just not an inclusive vibe?
Yeah, well, I think even the other day I went to a grand opening of a showroom, all of my work gear, my tradie gear, and just was like, I just walked in on my own. There was kind of nobody there. I think the sales rep came up and said hi, and then like quickly ducked away, and I was like, all right, thanks for the welcoming time, guys. So won't be visiting this place again. So, and I look a bit strange. I look a bit young, but 20 staff, I would be buying, 5-10 grand worth of product off you every day,
and
every month.
And did you get the feeling that was because your appearance is a bit different?
Yeah, that it's just not. I don't look like a big spender. Tattoos everywhere, piercings,
got it,
funny beard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very lucky that due to patriarchal reasons, my dad passed the business onto myself. Begrudgingly accepted it. Well, I sort of had to. It's a very strange position to be sort of put in. And I sort of went from the bottom of the company because I was just working there, and then sort of signed a bit of paper and responsible for everything.
Let's fast forward to, I don't know, 10, 15 years time. And right now there is debate, there is momentum that's built up about people understanding pronouns that are different from the binary pronouns. Have you got hope that in 10 or 15 years time this discussion won't be needed anymore, or is it kind of two steps forward and 3 steps back sometimes?
Oh, I think, there's just so much communication, and everything's sort of doubling every year, the technology, the communication, the speed. So we're just getting faster and faster at everything. I mean, you look at the 1990s and the TV was the main mode of communication. I remember going to the library to get out my encyclopedias, and I got the wrong one by accident. Having to walk back to the library to get the right encyclopedia. So information, it's completely in the palm of your hand all the time. So that momentum's just going to continue unless there's a world war with Russia and Ukraine, a couple of nuclear bombs. Fingers crossed, not going to happen. Anyway.
Okay, I've come to the end of the questions I wanted to ask of you. Are there any more things that you want to talk about with regard, particularly to inclusion and the use of pronouns in the workplace?
Yeah. I guess just as I was very, very lucky to work at a gay bar as soon as I sort of turned 18, 19. So I was incredibly shy, incredibly reserved. It took me a long time to come out because I wasn't the normal queerness. There wasn't much on the telly. I didn't know how to connect. I had no queer friends, no queer family, which is what I'm studying at school. So I was very lucky to work in a queer workplace for a long time, and that's where we really played with the pronouns, and I sort of really got my head around drag queens, and we'd call each other different names and really mean, funny things sometimes. This is the Australian way. Um, but then there'd be, trans people and non-binary people, and they'd have fun with that because it wasn't coming from a place of malice or aggression. Um, we just loved each other immensely, even though we worked together.
Yeah.
We all understood where everybody came from. So working with 10, 20 other queer people, I mean, there was a lot of drama.
And a few personalities.
A lot of big personalities. I think we all developed big personalities. I was so shy I didn't even speak to anybody my first shift. I was in tears almost. And a few people, like my best friend now, who actually lives in Berlin, he hated me the first shift. He's like, "Nah, you gotta fire him. He's dreadful." So
Wow.
they taught me everything, and that's why I sort of am who I am. Have a big douchey beard and a mullet, and just still, paint my nails and fuck with everything. So they gave me the knowledge and confidence. So I'm forever grateful for drag queens, and pioneers of the queerness, fucking around with the queerness and fighting for us. So immensely lucky.
And without being too concerned about that, without fearing consequences, because it was such a safe space to play around and explore, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, we're half pissed anyway. Well, very, very pissed most times.
Thank you, and I appreciate your time and your input. And there'll be certainly one or two other conversations in this series with Evan. Thanks, Evan.
No worries. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.